Alright, hello guys. Today we're going to be talking about when the cold and snow will return back to the eastern United States, as it's been so dry and so quiet for, I think it's been over a week now. It's been very quiet, very warm, and it looks to continue over the next couple of weeks until the end of December. We're gonna talk about when it's going to arrive again, though, as we look at the ECMWF EPS model. So this is its ensemble model, and we're looking at the 500 geopotential height anomalies right now, and this really shows us where the troughs and ridges show up. Now, the blue is usually where a trough is, and the green, or the yellow, is usually where a ridge is. And that blue line is kind of your freezing 540 line. That's where the average temperature is freezing. So we can see that it really shows us where the troughs and ridges are. Now, here's in 120 hours. So this is Saturday, December 22nd. You see there's a little bit of a trough there in the southeastern United States, but really we're in a zonal flow, meaning there's no real troughs in the eastern, or the United States as a whole. It's really just really flat, and the whole thing's a ridge at this point. Now, we move forward till about January 1st, and you can see we're kind of in that same pattern, but there is a trough in the western United States, but for the eastern United States, it's not going to feel like much changes at all. It's going to be the same old, but by the 9th of January, you can see there is a trough in the eastern United States. Right around the 9th, or it's right around the 6th through the 9th is when it wants to show that trough return to the eastern United States. Big pattern switch. And it's quite confident for a ensemble model. It seems pretty quite sure of this. So, and it's a quite reliable model as well. So take it with a grain of salt. There's only about a 60% chance of this happening, but it is the best model that you will find for this far out. Now you can see by January 31st, it still has that trough in the eastern United States. It wants to keep it there from the 9th till the 31st of January. So possibly a very cold month coming up. Now, here's your temperature anomalies of the rest of December, basically. So through January 1st. This is the 17th through the 1st. Or actually, this is the 27th through the 1st, but it's going to be warm before that as well. You can see it's cold in the west. It's going to be it's going to be below average in some areas, but overall slightly below average for those areas. And really just going to be warm for the eastern United States, or average in some places. Now we move forward to the 9th, again that time frame, and you can see that cold is starting to show up in the east, where it's slightly below average, and that warm is starting to show up in the west. And by the 17th, you can see that cold has really allowed itself to move over to the eastern United States, and now it's really quite far below average, 2 degrees in some areas, and this is for a 5-day span of time, so it means a lot more when you see those far below average temperatures. And then here's by the 23rd, still cold in the east, warm in the north, and by January 31st, you can see still cold in the east. This is when it's a little less reliable this far out. What's more important is that it shows that switch right around the 9th. That's what we're looking for to see when that model will switch. Now I wanted to show you something. This is the snowfall anomaly according to the ECMWF model for the month of January, and in those blue areas is where it's above average snowfall, and the red areas is where it's below average. So for the month of January, this is what we're looking at according to the ECMWF model. You can see that dark blue over the eastern seaboard from Maryland, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine, all very far above normal. So possibly an extremely snowy month for you guys. Lots of nor'easters, like I called for in my winter forecast. A lot of people already are giving up on my winter forecast, but my top analog was 2014 to 2015, and 2014 to 2015 had a very warm December, followed by extremely snowy and cold months, and it's all playing out just like that year did. November was really cold in 2014, and our November was really cold, and then followed by a warm November. All things are adding up. I also wanted to show you the UKMET model, or the UK Met, I don't know how you say it. This also has the same thing, very above average for the eastern seaboard. This model, I don't even know how to say this. It also shows that as well. And the French model also has a lot of the eastern seaboard, or at least New England, in very above average snowfall. I also wanted to mention that this is February according to the ECMWF model. Again, not as reliable, but it also has snowy for the eastern seaboard. So possibly 2 very snowy months coming up. It's too early to give up on the winter forecast when it's only been 2 weeks of warm weather. We're gonna get in snowy cold patterns. eventually, and it looks like, according to the ECMWF model, it's going to be mostly snowy and cold patterns from this point on. Take it with a grain of salt. Again, only about a 60% chance of all this playing out, and then all the other options are in that other 40%. But this looks like the most likely outcome at this point, and that's kind of how my YouTube channel was founded, is by me saying, look, there's only a 60% chance of this happening, but I'm going to let you guys know that that's the most likely outcome here. And I'm not too prideful to say, oh, well, it might not happen too. But this looks like the most likely outcome. And that's kind of how you have to approach it with this kind of long-range forecasting. But I think you guys enjoy this type of content when I say the percentages, and I'm not too worried about, putting it out there. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I wanted to just get it out there because people have been asking, where's the snow, where's the cold, and that's kind of how I feel about it right now. Anyway, guys, I'll see you guys later. Have a great rest of your December and a Merry Christmas.